Uh, Good afternoon, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the pleasure to welcome you all to a traditional press briefing that the rotating UN Security Council presidency holds every month. Today, Poland has taken over the Council presidency for August. This month, we have the privilege to preside over the Council meetings for the second time during our 2018-2019 term. Let me now introduce Ambassador Joanna Wronecka, the permanent representative of Poland to the United Nations, and Mr. Kamil Mielus, the political coordinator of the Polish mission. I guess you all know the drill of these press encounters. We'll start with Ambassador Wronecka, a briefing on the program of work in August, and then you will have the opportunity to ask your questions. Now I'll give the floor to Ambassador Wronecka. Ambassador, please.
Thank you very much. I would like to very warmly welcome you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being. I will try to be brief, but feel free to ask any questions. First, allow me to say that, as you probably remember, last year when we entered the Security Council, we decided to come with few ideas, motto, solidarity, commitment and responsibility. And today, after 1 year and a half, we can say that our choice was quite good. Also, we agreed on our priorities. We decided to work during 2 years in the Council on good standards for international law, international humanitarian law, protection of civilians. And again, today I can say that it was a good choice. And during our presidency in August, we would like to continue in that field because we still see a space for improvement. It's about practical aspects. We have at our disposal all legal instruments. We have conventions, but when we speak, for example, about the humanitarian issues, it's always how we protect the civilians, how we protect people, how we allow them to have the access to difficult places. So this is a small introduction about, if you wish, the philosophy of our membership in the Security Council. Now, today, especially, I am very pleased to inform you that we adopted the provisional program of the Security Council by consensus. Probably you have the copy of the program, so I hope it's well balanced. Although we have 1 week, the second week of our presidency will be relatively free. We have only one meeting. So allow me to propose the following order. I will focus mainly on Polish first of all events during this month. We will have 4 important events from our national perspective. For 1 year and a half, we were very much engaged in the thematic of children in armed conflict, although Poland is not the chair of the working group, but still we think this is an extremely important issue and we made a positive contribution. So that is why we are so pleased that tomorrow, the 2nd of August, we will have the privilege to hold the open debate with the participation not only of the member of the Security Council but also all members of UN on the situation of children in armed conflicts in close cooperation with Special Representative Madame Virginia Gamba. The Minister of Foreign Affairs from Poland, Mr. Jacek Czaputowicz, will preside, and we hope to have good discussion because through our engagement and commitment, as I mentioned, we discovered that we can do a lot. For example, Poland proposed during 1 year and a half some initiatives like the social integration of child soldiers, like, for example, the necessity to have national plans in countries affected by this problematic. We always try to bring a positive aspect to encourage also countries where there are some difficulties to cooperate to see one day a good improvement. So this is our approach. Let me say that we have also representatives from civil society who devoted their life to this question. So we have two briefers from civil society, Madame Kamara and Mr. Aoun from different regions, from Canada and from South Sudan. And they will share with us this perspective, what they did for children in armed conflicts, having the very often not very positive, of course, experience, but finally today they are very much engaged in this question. On 13th of August, from again our national perspective, we have an important briefing. This briefing is about international humanitarian law, but we would like to use this opportunity to commemorate also the 70th anniversary of Geneva Convention. You remember that the exact anniversary is of 12th of August, but because we have Eid Adha, and on this occasion I present my best wishes to our friends from Muslim and Arab countries. So we are organizing the briefing on 13. Again, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Poland will be there. We expect also the Minister of Foreign Affairs from Germany. The issue of international humanitarian law is quite important for all members of the Council, but also in general, members of the UN. And we have the impression that this discussion is needed because we have to uphold the standards of international law, speak about humanitarian access, speak about de-escalation issues. So we feel that, again, this time maybe the discussion will be quite innovative. Let's hope that we can maybe on this occasion adopt the PRST, but we need a consensual approach, so let's see how it will work. This is at least our intention. We have again distinguished briefers, Mr. Miguel de Serpa Soares, USG, President Peter Maurer. We have the representative from civil society, Dr. Anissa Belal, and of course my minister will be there. The third main event, this time it's a debate on Middle East. From the perspective, the title is Challenges to Peace and Security in the Middle East. But in fact, we would like to have a discussion on horizontal issues and to look mainly on root causes of certain conflicts in the Middle East, and to come also with new ideas. The voice of the region is quite important, so all states of the region are invited and will also contribute to the discussion. The briefer will be the Chief of Cabinet of the Secretary General, Madame Maria Luisa Viotti. My minister again will come. And the fourth main event during our presidency, it's not here in the agenda. We decided to organize ARIA on 22nd of August to commemorate as the establishment of the International Day to commemorate the people victims of acts of religious violence based on religion or belief. The General Assembly adopted a resolution in May on that issue, so we decided to choose 22nd of August for ARIA, but our main purpose is to focus on safety of religious minorities in the situation of armed conflict. Again, we will have distinguished briefers from civil society, but also the High Commissioner for Human Rights will brief us via video conference from Geneva, I guess. my minister will attend, and let's hope that also some other high representatives from member states of the Security Council will be participating. So there are 4 main events. As usually, you know that during the months of the presidency, we will have the lunch with the Secretary General. So for your information, 23rd of August, it's already here. Now, allow me to look a little bit to the program. So our main, of course, obligation is to deliver, because the agenda is on a monthly basis. So we have different topics here from your perspective. Most probably there are interesting points like consultations, peace and security in Africa. On the 8th of August, we will have also briefing Middle East consultation, Middle East, Syria, political, let's hope, because Mr. Peterson had an accident, so we will see. We will have also a discussion on and consultation on Yemen, regularly Somalia briefing and consultations. There are some reports due, so we expect them. And some report, for example, Iraq-Kuwait report, there are some UNAMI report due. Maybe a briefing threats to international peace and security caused by terrorist attacks. This is important. Briefing on UNAMID, the adoption of UNIFIL mandate, consultation on 1718 committee. For your information, we also agreed today to have an interactive dialogue on Burundi. Interactive dialogue always allow the country concerned to participate, so we are looking to a good exchange with the representative of Burundi and our participation. Maybe a few words about the working methods. Poland is the vice chair of the informal group on working methods and documentation for the Security Council, so we try to bring not only transparent and very, very flexible approach, but also to contribute positively to the effectiveness of our work. And I can tell you that since now maybe 2 years, 3 years, the atmosphere to improve the working methods is quite positive, good dynamic. You remember that in 2017, the Security Council, thanks to extremely good contribution of Japan, adopted Note 507. Today, on a regular basis, we refer to this note, but we try also to improve some issues. From the Polish perspective, for us, it's important to have good wrap-up session, to have also permanent dialogue with civil society, to be more and more transparent. We have our experience, and personally I have, but also my colleagues from different sanctions committees, so we contributed positively to the elaboration of a special book, small book, guide on working methods for sanction committees. So this is quite, and I repeat that, but allow me to repeat again, this is very important because colleagues who are coming, and very soon Poland will leave the Security Council, can be built on our positive contribution, especially for countries, and it was the case of Poland, when we are in the Security Council every 20 years. We joined the Council only after 20 years. So others are maybe more privileged because they have this institutional memory. For us is a challenge at the beginning. But we contributed positively, and today we would like to share this experience with others. So this is, I think, what I would like to share with you. most probably, some colleagues, although it's a summertime, will propose some other business issues already today. Although we adopted only the program, they propose a discussion on the DPRK, so we have the consultations. So we can expect other suggestions, most probably some areas. And we have to accommodate because the president is in a neutral position when we have to, of course, accommodate the request of different colleagues and of course to deliver. Again, I appreciate the way we have the chance to cooperate with SCAD, with the Secretariat. So I am in the process of long consultations with all sections, but also I see a lot our colleagues, if they are in New York, from countries concerned. And this dialogue, when we agree on something, and I speak in a very transparent but sincere way, I think will be appreciated, because by listening, and I listen to the people, I have the chance to be inspired and to elaborate better solutions, because we are very much solution-oriented. So thank you very much for listening to me, and now I'm at your disposal.
Thank you, Ambassador. Now we'll proceed to questions and answers. Before asking your question, please introduce yourself and say which media you represent. We'll proceed question by question, and as per established practice, the first question goes to United Nations Correspondents Association. Please.
Hello, Ambassador, welcome on behalf of the UN Correspondents Association. I'm with Franco with NHK. And as you mentioned, the Security Council today discussed under any other business the latest missile launches by DPRK. You received a briefing by USGD Carlo. Could you tell us what was your impression on the briefing, and was it considered that the launches are a violation of Security Council resolutions? And do you think there will be any further discussions or Security Council product on these? And also on the consultations on 1718 committee on August 29th, would this include the panel of experts report, or is this just an overall discussion? Thank you.
What can I tell, because we are here speaking about consultations, so whatever I can share, I will share with you. Of course, the positive dimension or aspect is that on DPRK, the Council was united and is united, so it's extremely important to maintain this position. Some other issues, unfortunately, I cannot share with you for the time being. This I can say. There is no plan for any products. On the consultations, 1718 committee, still we have time, so here I have to consult and to see how advanced we are, so I cannot give you the satisfaction, sorry.
Thank you for doing this, Madam Ambassador. My name is Ali Barada from France 24 and Al-Sharq Al-Awsat newspaper. 2 days after you took part with the démarche to the Secretary General regarding the situation in Syria, he took a decision to form a board of inquiry. Would you please give us your comment on this action by the Secretary General, and what's your expectation? And second, on the Palestinian-Israeli issue, there was a proposal for the Security Council, or at least some members, to visit the Palestinian territories and Israel. Is there any movement in this dossier? Is Poland going to take any action with this regard? Thank you.
Thank you very much. On Syria, as you probably know, but you know better that we made a démarche, and Poland was among 10 countries participating in the démarche. So it was 2 days ago. We had the meeting with the Secretary General when we express, of course, our grave concern about the situation in Idlib, and exactly because we are so concerned with the violation of international humanitarian law, we saw that maybe by establishing this investigation, it could be a solution. Of course, it's a competence of the Secretary General, so he received us, but it's his decision, so I cannot comment. We had only the meeting, to propose, and the Secretary General, of course, promised to consult with the legal services because it's quite important, yes, to have the objective assessment. But we know that in the past, it was a few years ago, a kind of investigation took place. So this is what can I tell you. Now, on any visits to the region, here again the Council should agree. So even in one country, Poland or X country would propose something, we need the agreement. Usually it's a visit by all members, but it could be also few members, a small group, because of the financial cost. But for the time being, this proposal or suggestion to go to Palestine, it's not yet on the agenda, not discussed.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Ambassador. My name is Ibtisam Azim from Al Arab Al Jadid newspaper. I will greet you in Arabic since you speak also fluently Arabic. فأهلا وسهلا ومبروك تولي بولندا لرئاسة مجلس الأمن. My question is regarding the session tomorrow in children in armed conflict. The Secretary General was criticized for not putting Israel on the list of the countries who are Israel, and also the Afghani government, the U.S. government, for the violation they are doing in different countries when it comes to Israel, in regard of killing 57 Palestinian children and injuring more than 2,700. What is your position, and do you think that the Security Council or many member states will ask the Secretary General to stick more to the facts in his list, as he was criticized by some NGOs, a human rights organization, and that his list reflect his report? Thank you.
We have two dimensions. First, the role of Special Representative, Madame Virginia Gamba. She is very committed, devoted to the work, and the report, of course, the report of the Secretary General. As far as the list of countries is concerned, it's the result of consultation. It's also a sovereign decision of the Secretary General. But I can assure you that countries during the discussion will refer to different specific situation. It depends, of course, on the national interest. Recently, as far as some countries are concerned, we have the interesting discussion about children. It was the case, as far as I remember, of Afghanistan. You will listen to the statement of different countries. I cannot speak on behalf of them. But as far as the report is concerned, this is what I can say. There is a certain discipline, intellectual, but also discipline of working. As you know, Madame Gamba, she is very vigilant, and I trust how she works, because for 1.5 years we worked closely with her. So I didn't ask these questions directly to her, but tomorrow maybe I will ask, and I am at your disposal. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Edith Lederer from the Associated Press. Thank you, Madam Ambassador, and I'm sure on behalf of all of us, we hope that you will come to the stakeout often and tell us what you can. And to your spokesman, we hope that you will send us previews of what's going to happen in the council as your predecessors have done. Last month, there wasn't a political briefing from Gar Peterson because he injured his eye. Are you expecting him to brief the council this month? Excuse me. And I noticed on the 27th it says Middle East, but it doesn't say what.
List is Mr. Mladenov. For Mr. Peterson, also we have here, and we have Syria Political Middle East in the 19th consultations. We would like to have him, but it depends on his personal, of course, decision.
And just a quick follow-up on tomorrow's briefing on children in armed conflict. Will there be any kind of product, any press statement or anything, or is this just going to be an open meeting with speeches?
It's an open debate. We discussed with Special Representative Virginia Gamba should we propose something, but we and her suggestion was that no, it will be an open debate only.
Yes, Madam Ambassador, congratulations and good luck this month. Nabil Abi Saab, Al Arabi TV station. I don't see Libya in the program of work, although Mr. Salami, his intention is maybe to reach a truce in 10 days or less from now. So have you received any update from him? Do you expect any consultations or discussions on Libya from now until Al-Adha? And what can the Council do to support his effort now that he's staying, or extend his mandate? I think it was extended. And my second question is about the area meeting, minorities. Do you expect that minorities representatives to attend the meeting, or will you hear from them or from any organizations that represent minorities? Thank you.
Thank you for the questions. They are absolutely very relevant. As far as Libya is concerned, we have the discussion with Mr. Salam. It was the briefing, of course, so we are extremely saddened by the situation, and he made concrete recommendations, so he was very clear. In our program, you noticed that we have let's hope that the UNSMIL report will be ready on 26. To have a discussion on Libya, we need at least 4 days because this is a practice. So following the report, I don't know if we will have time to still during the Polish presidency, according to the practice, but definitely during the Russian presidency. If there is a need to discuss and elaborate further, we are ready because it's our role to organize any meetings. I know, and even today, this I can share with you, that colleagues during our breakfast, because you need also other informations. Yes, we discussed that the Libyan issue is quite of urgency. So everybody, yes, has this conviction. Now on area, our approach is to really have a discussion which will serve the purpose. I cannot confirm because we invited briefers from different religious minorities, Yazidis among them. We don't have still the confirmation because some people are looking for visas, so I cannot confirm that this person is coming, but we try to propose to different minorities to have really a full picture and not focus only on one minority. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Ambassador. Stefano Vaccara, La Voce di New York, Radio Radicale in Rome. Two things. First, Ukraine. We were thinking that for your presidency, you were going to propose or push the proposal for a special envoy, UN special envoy for Ukraine. That was impression, but I don't see anything here that shows like the Ukraine is going to be the center of your program. And then this on your national level. On your national level, a question that I asked also to the ambassador before, the Peruvian ambassador. The situation in Libya, about the migrants that are trapped at the moment inside Libya, would you consider them migrants or refugees?
On Ukraine, you notice probably that here in our program we have in footnote letter by Ukraine. So it means that we can propose a meeting on Ukraine every time. Recently, it was last month, we have a meeting on Ukraine. And from the Polish perspective, I think already this year we organize upon our initiative 4 meetings on Ukraine. And in total, during our 1.5 year, 8 meetings. A special envoy, it's not only the Polish decision, and it could be not even written in the agenda, because first of all, it's the decision of the Secretariat, with, of course, agreement of the Ukrainian authorities. So this is what can I tell you. Now on migrants, refugees, delicate issue. You coming probably from Italy, you know extremely well the situation in Libya, even before the Gaddafi regime, or during the Gaddafi regime, and we know how many people from different sub-Saharan countries, of course, arrive to Libya, work in Libya, or stayed, or quit this country. So I'm not an expert on migration. There are clear definitions about who is the migrant, who is the refugee. So with all my respect, to people who are migrants, who are looking for the different or better life, I think we have today in Libya both migrants and refugees. This is what can I say.
Thank you, Madam Ambassador. أهلا وسهلا. عبد الحميد صيام from the Arabic Daily, القدس العربي. Madam Ambassador, you are an expert on the issue of Arab-Israeli conflict, and especially in Palestine. You served there. I want to ask your honest opinion about the two-state solution. Do you still believe that the two-state solution is viable, possible, feasible? That's one. The second, a few days ago, the U.S. representative in the Security Council, he discredited international law, international consensus, and the Security Council resolution. But when there is a violation of North Korea of the international law, the same country rushes to the Security Council for consensus, and they urge for international consensus. What is your opinion? What's your country's opinion about international law, Security Council resolutions, and international consensus? Thank you.
Thank you. I never serve in Palestine. I serve around in countries like Egypt, Jordan. No. Yes. But to be precise, the position of my country on two-state solution is clear. I will not repeat. We think this is the way to solve the conflict in full respect of the international law and agreed parameters. I mentioned at the beginning that for Poland, the respect for international law, upholding standards both in general international law and especially humanitarian law, are very high on the agenda. The situation is difficult, and I will not repeat, and I wish we can find a good solution to secure the interest of both countries. I mean Palestine and Israel in a constructive way. How to do it? It's not only our somehow not obligation, but we need maybe the input or good ideas from the region. So the fact that we are organizing this debate on Middle East in general maybe could inspire us, because yes, we have to think in a very creative way. It's about the people. It's about the aspiration, especially of young generations. So I don't have a concrete solutions, but personally, I very much believe in a dialogue, and only through dialogue and respect we can achieve something. How? Maybe you know better, but with goodwill, and Poland try to be as constructive as possible. So for us, yes, the international law, and I think we can be quite satisfied, because maybe we repeat always, but when we repeat, it means something for us. We pay special attention to the situation of women, children, protection of civilians. Always I repeat in my statements, but we believe in that, and this is, I think, a good reference for us, because it's about values, human values. Thank you.
Thank you. George Baumgarten, correspondent for Jewish newspapers in North America and other media as far afield as Kazakhstan. You mentioned, several points here, you mentioned in passing something about Burundi. Is there going to be any discussion of Burundi and the situation there in the course of this month? Also, you several times mentioned minorities, and you're having several specially invited minority speakers. To which meeting does that apply? Where does that fit in on the calendar? And finally, and I assume I know the answer to this, your meeting on the 27th marked Middle East. I assume that's the standard monthly meeting on Israel-Palestine. Thank you. Dziękuję.
Dziękuję bardzo. So on Burundi, we agreed today to have, it's not in the program, because when we propose informal discussion, interactive dialogue, we call this interactive dialogue, when all members of the Security Council go to another room and discuss in a more innovative way. So we will have this meeting on Burundi on 28th of August, the PM, and the format is interactive dialogue to allow also the ambassador of Burundi to be there, and we have to decide who will be the briefers, but probably you remember that some countries organize, we have interactive dialogue on Ebola. So it's always useful because it's more formal and there is a good interaction. You mentioned the Middle East. Yes, it's definitely with the participation of Mr. Mladenov. And you ask about area. Our area, it's not here. We organize this area because we would like to start commemorating, the victims of oppression because of the religious belief. 22nd in the morning, 10 o'clock, organized by Poland. So there are 3 I hope. Please, proszę bardzo.
Thank you, Madam Ambassador. George Tichy from Ukrainian news agency Ukrinform. You were already speaking a little bit on Ukraine, but I would like to follow up. Foreign Minister Jacek Czaputowicz was speaking a few days ago to journalists in Warsaw, and he said that the discussions on the special envoy are ongoing. Of course, as you said, it's not upon Poland to decide, but I would like you to expand a little bit. What are the dynamics of these discussions? What do you expect? And more broadly, why is it important to have such a special envoy? Dziękuję bardzo.
Dziękuję bardzo. I can only repeat what I said. We are very creative and we are trying to look to different issues, but this discussion, maybe the minister was creative, and he mentioned that it was before an idea, but this is not for the time being. I cannot elaborate because I don't have new elements.
And Charles, Baltic Review. Starting in January 2020, Estonia will hold a non-permanent seat in the UN Security Council, replacing Poland as part of the Eastern European Group. How would you describe Poland's relationship with the Baltic states of Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania, keeping in mind that the newly elected president of Lithuania recently made some very positive remarks about Poland's relationship to Lithuania?
Thank you very much. Our approach to all newcomers, because we are already approaching the end, is to share our experience. So here in New York, our relations with the Estonian mission are excellent, and we are at their disposal to share whatever we can, if they are, of course, interested. Now, our bilateral relations, I'm not the ambassador to Estonia, but I know that from my colleague they are excellent. The ministers, but also on the level president, they see each other often because, within the European Union there are frequent meetings, so they have this chance, and Estonia is very enthusiastic about the membership. It's for the first time. So we voted for Estonia, and we are very happy that Estonia can realize the aspirations they have. So only positive,
It's Rhonda Haubin, and I have a blog at tats.de at the Tageszeitung website. And I have two parts to the question. One, I'm interested in the Burundi, what you just described about Burundi, that you said you will go to another room so that you can hear them and it can be interactive. And and also you mentioned the methods of work of the Security Council. And I just point you to Article 32 of the Charter, which says that when there's somebody involved in a dispute, the Security Council should invite them to a meeting of the Security Council and hear their views. Is what's going on with Burundi in any way an application of Article 32 of the Charter? It's on page 23 of the Charter book. It's any member of the United Nations which is not a member of the Security Council, or any state which is not a member of the UN, if it is a party to a dispute under consideration by the Security Council, shall be invited to participate without vote in the discussion relating to the dispute, and the Security Council will lay down the conditions for the participation. Is this an effort to apply that article? Because usually that article is ignored in general, though there are some members who feel it should be applied.
No, thank you for reminding us, but this meeting is informal, because we are looking for creative ways of bringing our discussion to concrete solutions. So this article will not apply in an informal meeting, most probably, because it's the customary approach. But we have, from the procedural point of view, to check with SCAD. Yes, the idea is that on Burundi, I had the chance to speak to many people. I had like 30 meetings. So the region, African countries, all members of the council, the ambassador, the African Union, to understand what is needed to make a difference and good contribution, in the sense that we will encourage the elections, and we will see some positive developments. So this is our approach, and we notice through the interactive dialogue that there is more trust. Maybe it's close because we are in a closed room, but still the countries concerned can participate. This is the tradition or the.
Can you say Poland's view on Article 32? Do you think that it should be a formal, part of the Security Council process to invite, to invite parties to a dispute to discuss the situation? I mean, I appreciate what you've just described. It seems a very good process.
No, maybe I will give you, because it's better to work with concrete examples. So when I have difficult, that I chair the sanction committee on Sudan, South Sudan, and Iraq. So what I try to always propose, in full respect, of course, of the charter, but not even referring to, but to have good results. So I invited the people affected, so Sudan can speak, but also the region can speak. So they associate themselves with the discussion, and this is a transparent way. I see this rather as a transparency to offer them the possibility to speak, because even to the ambassador of Burundi I said, if you have positive elements, please speak, because maybe this will help you to pronounce yourself. So this is how I see this is our view. But in concrete situation, of course, I will give you more elaborated legal approach.
Can I just apply it to the DPRK, which hasn't been invited, and was once, and they came when they were invited. So I'm wondering what Poland's view would be towards, inviting them to also as part of Article 32, and to hear their view.
On DPRK, we are not, we as Poland, we are not yet planning. Of course, it's for the reflection, but our approach, or my personal approach, that it's always better to speak even when we have difficult issues. But this is, I guess, not exactly what you want for me. Yes, in concrete case, I have to study this Article 32.
Yes, thank you, Madam Ambassador, for this press conference, and good luck for this month of your presidency at the Security Council. My name is Oscar Bolanos from OMB News Independent correspondent. And my question is regarding the world is being facing these days the crisis with migrants and refugees all around the world. So what is your position on these regards when the migrants and refugees are being targeted and detained and are basically exposed to all these kind of human rights violations? And to go to the South America region and the crisis in Venezuela, when the recent report from the UN High Commissioner of Human Rights, she presents a report with hundreds of human rights violations on all this situation in Venezuela and the 4 million of Venezuelan migrants and around the region. Thank you.
the respect for humanitarian law, it's a top priority for us. Whenever, and recently it was the situation in Libya, the attacks of the camps of detainees, so our position was very strong. Of course, we condemn the issue. On Venezuela, in my different discussions and recently with Mr. Peter Maurer, I asked how we, international community, we can help, of course, from the humanitarian point of view, because for us it's a top priority. Migrants and the protection of migrants, refugees. I don't like to mix, but all people is the top priority. Now, how to doing? We have to be vocal. So Poland, of course, is making the financial contribution. We increase our humanitarian assistance in recent years, and I was in charge of this portfolio for a while within the Polish Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We focus very much on humanitarian assistance in terms of contribution financially to different UN bodies. We increased 3 times or 4 times our contribution, voluntary contribution to agencies like UNICEF, because they can help children first, also to UNDP in some situation. So only by, speaking and being more vocal, we can improve the situation. But it's about the values. So there are human beings like we are. And here, when we speak about respect for international humanitarian law, we have to respect also people who suffer because of the natural catastrophes, because of the migration somewhere. We have our experiences also in Poland when we received, maybe it's not very well known, but we received a lot of people even before now the current crisis, you remember probably the crisis in Chechnya. So as far as I remember, it was between 80,000-90,000 people at that time, and we offered them some facilities. The issue is not easy, but we have to be consistent. When we speak respect, it should be always full respect. Now, some countries, of course, prefer to help on the ground in a country affected, others by bringing refugees to their country. Our approach is that we should solve the root causes and try to help on the ground, and this is the reason we increase our humanitarian financial contribution.
Question, please.
Thank you so much. Shiho Matsuka from Nippon Television, a Japanese news broadcaster. During your press conference, it's been reported that the DPRK has again launched some projectiles. Can we have your reaction to that? And also, would you be open to having a meeting on the DPRK this month? Thank you so much.
Here, the president, of course, I am the president of the Security Council, but I am somehow in the hands of all members, so the members should agree. Today we have this close consultation, so whenever we will agree, I am at your disposal, and I will share with you our position, and I can promise to do it.
And your reaction to the recent launch that just happened during this press conference? Today I cannot brief you on that, because today it's my first day and I have so many meetings that I cannot give you the satisfaction, because our position it's not yet elaborated in a way that you will be happy to listen.
Okay, thank you very much for your attendance. Today. We are looking forward to working with you during August and in the forthcoming months. Thank you.